Good morning and welcome back. Now, following on from fitting the roller shutter door, we've had a lot of rain since then, and you'll remember I took the pillar out, and that has left this hole, and I think because of that, water has been tracking underneath, because when the shutter's all the way down, there is a big gap. There is a big gap at the bottom here, and I think that has been allowing water to get in and soak into the slab here. You see where all the damp has been coming in, and that, I don't know if you can see that, there's actually mould on the floor there, where it's all been getting damp, and you can see it's kind of this shaped, which I think is why it's actually coming from that point. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to cut this back, because that is a bit of a high spot there. Comes up, obviously it was laid after the wall was built, so naturally it'd be slightly higher in these locations here. So I'm just going to quickly cut down here. I may come back a little bit further here, maybe not. I'll see how easy it is to get this up. Do the same on the other side, and fill it with some concrete. I will hopefully one day have the whole floor redone, with some levelling compound and a nice resin floor or something along those lines, but not for a little while. No budget for that at the moment. On the front here, this will get filled with some cold lay. I'll have to chisel off some of this, close this off before I put the concrete in. It is 10 Sunday morning, and sorry neighbours, out comes the grinder. Wow, that was a bit of a failure. Turns out the disc that I've got on there, I didn't actually notice, but it's completely worn, so there's no cutting going on with that. I thought it was a bit hard, but it's not. It's this. There is actually no disc left. That's how it should be, with a diamond edge on it. Although this one looks a bit dirty, I'm sure that'd be fine. I'll stick it in the small grinder and go along with that. But that's a bit of a pain, because that should have made fairly short work of that. On the last little bit I had to do, ran out of blades, so just popped to the shop, got a couple more. Probably should have done that first time round when I realised the 9-inch cutting disc that I had was knackered. Should have probably just gone and got one of them. Would have done that a lot quicker and easier, but we're here now. Don't have much time, I've got to get this done. I don't know how much of that you caught because for some reason the camera wasn't actually filming. Bit of a pain, but this is what I've done. It seems to come out quite well. I'm sure there's a lot of people that have watched this and you know, shouted at the screen saying I'm doing it all wrong, but that's how I know how, and hopefully it's good enough for the job. So we'll catch back up with this once the once concrete's gone off and see how it looks. Hi guys, we are back in the garage this evening. The concrete has now set and that is looking pretty good, and I'll be honest, that almost killed me. Not quite. Immediately after filming the footage that you just saw, I started packing up because, like I said, I wanted to get off and watch the Formula 1. And as I packed everything away, I started rolling the shutter down, and I ended up almost collapsing. Wife phoned the ambulance, and I got taken to A&E, and I was in hospital for over a day. So I had a bit of a condition, FAF, fast atrial fibrillation, and that is something that I've had for quite a number of years actually. It's the first time I've had an episode in about 5 years, and it's actually the first time it's ever been caught on a ECG machine. So it's something that I've lived with, and kind of when it happens I've ignored it, and this time was a pretty bad one. Got me on my knees because I thought I was going to black out. I thought I'd rather get down myself than be forced to with gravity, and yeah, wife saw me and called 999, like I said. All right though, no ill effects, and I'm back to it. But that is the reason why this video has taken a little while to get out to you, because I've been delayed by myself. So, but we're back in. We'll move on from that. And today, or this evening, shall I say, I'm going to try and do a bit more to the mount. What has turned up in the meantime is, excuse the mess, it is an absolute state in here. Anyway, I have an alternator belt, so we're going to have a go, see how well that fits, and then come up with something to tension it. I'll bolt this up now quickly and see how that looks. Okay, I've got the alternator on there and I've attempted to fit that belt, and it's too small. Pain in the ass that is. It is only a fraction too small. I mean, I could probably get it on there if I really wanted to, but that would be no good really. It would get on there because, like I say, it's barely too short, but not ideal. I'll have to get a slightly longer one. That is 15 quid, not very well spent. So the idea for tensioning this belt, obviously not this one, but one that actually fits, would be to adjust the alternator out like this. Plan being is these 3 bolt holes here. I'm going to make a plate that fits on here and use a rose joint like that to fit onto there, and then I can adjust the length of this to get this where I want it to be, and that will tension that adequately. I'll get on and start making that plate. So this is where we are with things. I've whipped the front cover off the block. Reason for that is these 3 mounting holes that I mentioned earlier. I wanted to get the position of them dead on. I didn't want to have to make that plate several times over because I kept on getting the holes in the wrong place, and because the front of it, if I move this off quickly, has got a few lumps in it, I couldn't use the old trick of putting some masking tape over it to find these mounting points here, just because obviously with the tape going over this lump, that would then make the tape longer, and when I taped it down these would be too far apart. So I used this, which was cut off roughly. I made a little template first, cut that out. That just so happened to be the width of the plate that I was using, similar to this here, same width as that. So yeah, all I did was put it on the inside, clamped it down, and drilled through the holes, and they've come in exactly right place. Because of this lump, I'm going to have to make some standoffs. For the time being, I've just put some nuts on the back of them just to see. You can see in there, just to see how high that would need to be. Need to be slightly taller than these at the minute, because that isn't quite there. So it'll probably have to be 8 to 10 mil probably. I have got some material to do that with. This is what I'll be using to make the standoffs with. I know you can buy them off the shelf, but I wasn't too sure how high they needed to be, and by the time I was doing this, I wouldn't have had time really just to order them up and wait around. So fortunately, obviously I've got a lathe, so drill this out to suit an M8 bolt, and cut them down to 10 mil. I'll probably do that now quickly before I call it a night. There we go. You can see there, those are little standoffs that I've just made. Only took a few minutes on the lathe. The longest bit actually, and I did make a schoolboy error. I made quite a few of those. Is I grabbed a drill bit out of my drill case, grabbed the 8mm bit, stuck it in the lathe, in the chuck, drilled through, and of course it was not the 8mm drill bit, it was the 7.5. So when I tried to fit them over these bolts, they didn't fit, so I just had to drill them out by hand, just here. Not the end of the world, but it's just a bit of a pain really. I will once they're welded up, just because I have just made them 8mm, so it's fairly tight on these bolts. There's not much of a clearance there. Once they're welded in place, I will obviously run another drill through there. If I can find an 8.3, I will do, just to give it a bit more clearance. These are actually 9mm holes here in the front, so they don't need to be particularly tight. It's not a you know, location critical component, but I don't really want a load of movement on there. Nice and tight would be ideal, but yeah, came out all right. These are 8mm. This is actually 7mm. I did measure it up, 7mm. So with this on, that is just about perfect. So again, I don't know whether I'm going to leave this video here and edit it and send it out before I actually get this done. I know this video has been a bit of everything really. Obviously a little bit about the filling the floor with concrete, a little bit about doing the alternator, but having those few days in hospital kind of messed up my schedule. I best get in. All night. Hi everyone, and welcome back to the garage. Tonight hopefully we can get this complete. I'm going to get the standoffs welded, and we're also going to get the mounting point here welded on. I know that I said previously that I'm going to get this on the lathe, turn it off, and put it off to the offset, but the offset isn't, it's not very far off where it is at the minute. So I reckon the easiest thing to do is actually use a bit more of this material and just use a hole saw. Only needs about 5mm standoff there, so what I'll do is I will use a hole saw to make basically a thick washer and get that welded on there, and that will be all good. This might be a little bit big actually. Should be alright. Yeah, hopefully get this done and dusted this evening, so I'm going to crack on. Right, I'll give that a quick clean up, and I'll be ready for welding straight on. Okay, we're all cleaned up and ready to go now. This is the front where the rose joint is going to be fitted, and this is the back with the standoffs. Those all been ascertained down or been wiped down with a Scotch-Brite, and I'm going to do a couple of test welds on the bit of scrap, and hopefully this goes okay. So that's all welded up. I've allowed that to cool down and I've given it a quick clean off. This one came out quite well. They all came out quite well actually, although this one I'm a little bit annoyed. It's got a little bit hot here and it just took this edge away. Annoying because this is the front side, but I suppose you never see it because you'll have the rose joint over the front of that anyway, so you'll never see it, but it came out okay. This one was a little bit tricky just because it was right on the edge here, but yeah, it came out pretty well. I'm just going to tap this out for an M10. What I'll probably do is stick a M10 helicoil straight in there, because last thing I want to do is have that strip out. So I'll do that now, and hopefully next time you see this it'll be on the car. So here we are. Looks quite good. I'm quite impressed actually. There are a few issues with it. Just down here you can see this bolt protrudes out. This wasn't the final bolt that I was going to use anyway. It's just an N10 that just happened to be short enough to fit. However, where the belt is going to run, you can see that there is some interference there, so I'll get a low profile head, and that should clear it. It is very close to not hitting it anyway, but that should clear all right with a low profile head, and that'll be fine. The other thing that you may notice is I don't have a bolt in here. I'll have to get a countersunk bolt that fits in there. I could drill that out and bury it with a normal cap head bolt, but countersunk would be a bit nicer. I could countersink all three, but there's no need for those ones. The only thing that I obviously need to do is to order up a new belt that'll fit. But yeah, that is almost complete. Just a few more bits and that will be ready to go, but I'm quite happy with that. Right, I am going to end the video here now. Hopefully you've enjoyed the video. If you have, hit the like button, subscribe, and if you've got any questions, just drop them down below. Until next time, see you later.